As you've heard today, we're helping to invent the technologies of the future with Metaspark, expanding beyond mobile and advancing towards AR glasses. Metaspark now enables you to build virtual objects and publish to mixed reality, while also advancing experiences in mobile. Our longer term vision is for AR glasses that seamlessly combine the virtual and physical worlds. We believe glasses like these will be revolutionary. Getting there will require similar levels of innovation from our incredible community of creators. Today, we'll have a panel discussion with a few of our thought leader Metaspark Partner Network members who are at the forefront of technical creative expression. We'll discuss how they have advanced and upskilled as creators and how they're planning to build with us for the future of AR experiences. With that said, let's meet our amazing creators from around the globe. Eugene, let's start with you.
Hi, my name is Eugene and I'm from Singapore.
And Mitsuko.
Hi, I'm Mitsuko Ono, creative designer based in Japan. I'm so happy to be here.
Luke.
Hey, Chris. My name's Luke Hurd, and I'm so excited to be here today.
And Dennis.
Hi, my name is Dennis. Happy to be here.
Fantastic. Thanks, everyone. Now let's get started. Our first question is for Luke. What motivates you to build more advanced experiences and experiment with Metaspark? Can you reference a specific project or experience that you deem to be your most innovative and advanced work?
You know, one of the coolest things about building in Metaspark is that you do get to build for today, but it's really thinking about how you can build for tomorrow, getting to the point where you can start to prototype things inside of this software for experiences that people might not have had yet. Really is where the road meets the rubber, so to speak, or the rubber meets the road. So where you can really understand how people are going to be using these in the future, especially as we start to change the devices that we start to use these in. So one of the coolest projects that I worked on this year was for Coachella. It was a one-of-a-kind experience. It was festival-based. It was event-based. It was outside, outdoors, and it was on-site. So we got to learn so much about how people use these things out in the real world, how much time they're willing to spend with them right now, what that means for the future, what that means to be outside in the sun during the day, during a festival, and experience things on a device. There's just so much to learn there. So it's really just blending that idea of building for today, but really building it to understand tomorrow. And I think that that's one thing that Metaspark really just has the ability to do.
Thank you. Mitsuko, talk to us about your journey and your evolution.
Well, what motivates me the most is doing something that someone has never thought of before. I want to create like out of this world experiences. I don't want to make something that's normal and ordinary, because I understand that we have this chance to create something never before seen. So I want to do exactly that, never before seen and even never before imagined. With my meta tornado effect, I wanted to convey what the metaverse is for me. In this project, I used the plane tracker not just to show something in front of the user, but all around the user. I wanted to have like a different kind of experience using the back camera by changing the surroundings of the user. Whenever the user would look up or look down, the sound matches the visuals. And I had to experiment a lot with different settings, different textures, until I ended up with something that I thought matched my imagination the best. I wanted the user to explore what's on the left, the right, even what's on top and what's on the bottom. And also, since this effect kind of has like a fast pace, I also made it so that the user can actually view the whole scene in slow motion through an interaction.
Wonderful. Thank you. And Eugene, how about you?
I found that what motivated me was problem solving. So when I find a problem that no one has dealt with before, I tend to get in the zone and I don't give up until it's solved or have found a workaround. One of them was to use the plane tracker to measure how fast you run. And I did that with the effect I called Trackstar. So in that effect, you can measure your 10-meter distance timing and your 50-meter distance timing and 100-meter distance timing. The second iteration of that, I went on to measure a longer distance. So back then, I made do with what I had, which was with the phone and with Spark AR. Most people would have told me that you would get a very inaccurate kind of measurement, but I managed to get that to be fairly accurate. And my second project would be with my nonprofit, Mind Palace. So I was doing virtual reality for people living with dementia. So I bring them back to places of the past using the virtual reality headset. So then I moved on to building immersive rooms. Instead of using the headset, I turned it into an entire room so that they don't have to be touching anything.
Well, that's amazing, Eugene. Thanks for sharing with us. Sound like really spectacular projects. And Dennis, why don't you tell us about your experience with Metaspark and the innovation and experimentation you've been involved in?
Actually, I started to create it AR just for fun, and so do I nowadays, even though it became my actual job. I enjoy solving technical challenges. I enjoy to see how people interact with different experience I made. So I'm trying to build a part of your future today, and the Metaspark is a perfect tool to do it. I also love art, so I'm trying to bring some modern technologies into art by collaborating with museums or participating in exhibitions, and also try to make technologies more artistic, beautiful, and colorful. So I love to experiment with physics, with simulations, with complex interactive experiences such as drawing or even sculpting in 3D right in Spark AR. And one of the best things I ever made, it was a bunch of experiments with a LiDAR sensor. It's a sensor that allows the device to measure the distances between real-world objects. And here's a small teaser to you. Some of these experiences will be available as a templates in Spark very soon.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Dennis. I'm curious how all of you all have evolved as creators and leveled up your technical skill. Is it through 3D modeling, scripting, or other types of experimentation? Luke, would you tell us about that journey for yourself?
Boy, all of those things. I started off as a two-dimensional web developer back in the day, and to make that foray into AR required me to learn things like 3D modeling, shading, and really just understanding how people used it and how people understood 3D objects in a scene. So everything, all of those things. And I will say that it's definitely not too late for anyone to start in this, because I just started a few years ago. It's really not that hard to get leveled up to this point. So one of the coolest things that comes out of this is being able to prototype inside of Metaspark and being able to just open it up and kind of move things around as if you're in a Zen garden, and you can just kind of like play with the sands a little bit, find out what you want to do, and then just close it. The same thing you would as like a doodle pad. So I feel like that's probably like one of my favorite things that I've leveled up on when it comes to doing things inside this software. But overall, boy, it's everything across the board.
Well, that's great. Great to hear how you're advancing. Mitsuko, what does the journey look like for you as you've evolved your technical skill set?
When I started working with AR, I only used mostly 2D assets and some free 3D assets available online. As I created more, I started editing those 3D assets to my liking and even creating my own when what I want couldn't be found anywhere. I also learned how to code as well because I wanted to learn how to make a game in another program. And because of that, I understood visual scripting even more. And it made me learn how to create games inside of Spark that didn't need me to actually write scripts. I also used to do just face tracking effects before, but now I'm starting to make effects with more animation and a storyline. Everything I know now, I learned through experimentation in Spark, and I also download resources posted by other creators so I can learn from them. I tweak them to understand how they work, and most of the time, I stumble upon lucky accidents that prove to be really useful.
Lucky accidents. That's an awesome phrase. Uh, Fantastic. Dennis, please tell us about your journey through upskilling and becoming more advanced as a creator.
I found a very nice way to learn. I call it progressive task-specific learning. So it's like a progressive JPEG. Instead of smoothly loading content from the beginning to the end, it displays it all instantly, but blurred, pixelated, and then gradually clarifies. So the same as knowledge, the same as learning. I tried to dive right into a specific task instead of passing courses or even starting with the basics. So I take this task, I decompose it to small ones, learn everything I need, learn related, mark something to the future, and just gather results. Yes, sometimes this method produces fragmented knowledge, but it helps me to move much faster. I think that in every niche, there is some enough level of knowledge that covers most of tasks. So it's cool if you learn and know something very deeply, but I think it's better than you can use different knowledge and combine them to something unexpected. So that's why I take something from JavaScript, from 3D modeling, from AI and machine learning, from design, fine arts, etc.
Wonderful. Thank you. And Eugene, how about you?
I came from a game design background, full on scripting until Spark came along. When I first picked up Spark, it was still pure scripting. And then I picked up the patch editor using the node graph. Then slowly I started to realize how powerful it was. Then after a while, I warmed up to it and realized that I could do almost everything that the scripting can do. And with an even more enjoyable process, because as a visual artist also, I like things more visual, and the patch editor gave that to me, and like connecting the dots here and there, it like to look to what Luke said, it feels very therapeutic also, and so now I feel like all my latest games I've been using just the patch editor, which is amazing, and it makes opening up the old projects even easier. Now that it's all visual, it used to be like a whole wall of text, and now it's more two-dimensional. Wall of text would be one-dimensional, and now it's more two-dimensional. You can see things sideways and upwards and downwards.
Well, thank you so much for sharing, everyone. What a fantastic body of advancements you all are making in your skill. What advice do you have for fellow developers and creators? And what resources do you recommend for the broader community? Mitsuko.
My advice is challenge today's you. Never stay comfortable because that would be the end of progress. Spark regularly has updates, and when they do release a really cool feature, I suggest to be on that to stay ahead. But you don't have to be really good at everything if you don't want to. Find your expertise or your style and build on that. I used to be really insecure that I don't know shader language or some technical skills, and I used to stress about it all the time. But I realized what my forte is, and I've used that to my advantage. If you're just starting out, I suggest to watch all the tutorials out there and do it while watching. Copy to learn, but remember to be original when you publish. For specific resources, I suggest you to join the Spark AR Facebook community. It's an active community with over 100,000 members, and they're constantly posting resources, tips and tricks, and inspirations. And also Spark has published their own official tutorials made by the top creators in the community. And I think it's available on the official website.
Thanks for sharing, Mitsuko. Luke, how about you? Any advice for other creators and developers?
Oh my gosh, so much advice. One of the things I always try to tell people is not to get caught up in the current limitations of either the software or the hardware, because the idea that spatial development is happening is going nowhere. That's going to continue no matter what. As these engines change, as the hardware changes, understanding what's happening in a room, in a scene, with the people in the scene, with the objects in the scene, that is a continuing force that will progress as we get deeper into digital interaction. So don't get too hung up on those limitations because we're working through those. We're kind of in the early days. We're all walking on the moon together, and it's okay if we see some things that we need to improve along the way. That's why we're here. So as far as resources go, I've sunk a large portion of my life into trying to educate people in this space and kind of have the epiphany that I did a few years ago, and it's been great. There's so many resources out there to learn from. The Spark AR community on Facebook, again, 100,000 members out there with people of all types of varying types of education and backgrounds that you can team up with and partner with and collaborate with, not just learn from. And also, there's the Facebook Blueprint series where you can learn the curriculum, you can get certified in Spark AR and start your new career if you want to. And, most importantly, I'd say is the people. The resources there are invaluable to me. I've made some of the best friends I've ever made over the past 4 or 5 years through through this network and this community. So the resources aren't just scripting resources. They're people and community as well. And I feel like that really is what has kept me in this world for so long, is knowing that there's so many new voices here. There's so many people we can help. There's so many boats we can all rise together that it's a force to be reckoned with for sure.
Appreciate it. Thank you. Eugene, any advice for the community?
I'd say be genuine and have fun. Yeah, most importantly is to have fun because that would make you go longer. If you're not having fun, the chances of getting turned off quickly is high. So have fun. Some of the courses that I would recommend, the resources that I would recommend would be the Creator Days workshops, especially the ones for the competitions. Some of them I've been in it and teaching, passing down precious information in there. Yeah.
Great. A lot of great resources you all have shared. And Dennis, how about you? What would you offer as advice to other developers and creators?
I can say that improving technical skills is a good goal, but don't dive into it too much, especially when Spark AR is the easiest tool even for beginners. So I think that having a good taste and common sense is more important. So here's my advice. Make a feed on Instagram or other social platforms with fashion designers, artists, technical specialists, machine learning specialists, marketers, and see what they post. And start every day with a cup of coffee and fresh new content, and you will see how maybe in a year or two, following, for example, fashion designers, you'll be able to distinguish a bad piece from good and maybe even create your own. And again, about technical skills, this is obviously not the only way to become a successful and professional creator or artist. There are so much behind it. Like, think about people needs. Try to think what will make them happy, how to bring some new emotions to them, make them funny or even angry. All emotions are good. So think about business, how to help them achieve their marketing goals. Like this.
And Dennis, what gets you most excited about the future of AR and why? How are you approaching the shift from mobile to headsets?
I think that the metaverse will happen in augmented reality, not in all these so-called metaverses. I mean, all these web or desktop-based applications that are years behind even simple MMORPGs. So the true metaverse should combine and merge together physical and digital worlds, bringing some more creative possibilities to people, making our life easier, more fun, and interesting. The biggest difference between mobile and wearable AR, that on mobile, it's experience-based. So you just launch one, then you close it, you launch another, etc. But in the future, when we all will wear AR glasses or headsets, they should build an ecosystem full of experiences and apps that are continuous, running constantly, and seamlessly merged and connected to physical or digital objects in the world. We also should invent some new interfaces to make AR easier to use and safe even outside.
Thank you so much. Mitsuko, what are your thoughts on the future of AR and this transition towards glasses?
I'm excited about AR being at the forefront of everything, be it from advertising to entertainment to gaming. It's inevitably going to be the next big thing. Why? Because it's becoming more inclusive, more interactive, and more experiential. It's no secret that the biggest tech companies in the world are developing HMDs. And imagine having two worlds. One, the one that we have now, our waking world, and the second one with the stuff made with dreams. It's an alternate world where anyone can bring their digital creations and mix it with everyone's reality. This technology will push creativity on a different level. There are new features that will come out, and these new features will always mean new possibilities, and it's our job to find out what those possibilities are and to deliver. And as the shift from mobile to headset approaches, speaking from a creative point of view, I come up with ideas on how I can add more visual impact. I think about what kind of new experiences I can come up with, what type of environment, what type of interaction I can create that will invoke a memorable and a stronger emotional reaction from the user.
Wonderful. Eugene, what gets you excited about the future?
The immersiveness. Finally, we'll be able to create something using the same software that we are super familiar with, that we've been using for the last 3 to 4 years. We can use the same software to create an immersive experience. I guess the main difference between the phone and the headset is suddenly it's all around you, and it's a headset experience. I'm excited for one of the problems that I've been trying to solve for the elderly is the social isolation that they experience in the nursing home. So maybe with this, we could finally get them to experience being next to somebody while in their nursing home.
What a great vision. And Luke, you talk to us about the future and how you're approaching the great shift from mobile to wearable devices.
Yeah, this is something that I'm really excited for. I think we've had mobile devices for so long now that we're very used to them. They're ubiquitous in our life. So to think about a life without them might feel a little foreign, but we all survived without them before that. And seeing that we're moving towards this more wearable experience, more outward-facing experience, is really the beauty of the new interface to me. I think that's what's so exciting is that, in order for us to get out into the real world and do real world computing, we had to take the keyboard and the display and the mouse and cram it all into a phone. And that really opened up the whole world for everyone to be able to walk around and compute. And now we're removing that piece of it. And what that means is that your device is able to read you better. It's able to read the world better. It's less of you fumbling with your device and minimizing and maximizing and hitting buttons and all of that. That's the beauty for me, is really that further immersion of the human being into the device and being able to build experiences for us rather than building an experience and then we try to figure it out as human beings. So I just really love that we're starting to read more about who we are, more about our gestures and our emotions, and plugging that into the context of reality. And so that's what's so exciting for me. And something like Metaspark, being able to take that one tool and be able to build for two pathways, whether that be a selfie pathway or a real world pathway. This is something I've been talking about for a couple years now, about why you want to go learn this now, because this is about to turn on. And to be part of it right now is just really, really exciting. I couldn't be more excited.
Well, thank you all so much for joining me today and for such a rich conversation. I'm truly inspired and overjoyed with all that you are creating, and look forward to seeing all that you'll continue to build. Thanks so much.